school. It's a part of our everyday lives for 7 hours a day, 5 days a week. As high schoolers, almost every single day we are loaded with at least an hour or so
of homework.
Although it doesn't seem like that much, it really is, because we have a thing called a social life. After school, we have sports and clubs and practices that we are a part of and attend to, which could take over 3 hours, giving us less time to focus on schoolwork. Now, most people would say,
if you can't manage your time appropriately, you shouldn't do extracurricular activities.
It's not that high schoolers can't manage their time and manage to do their homework. It's just that we are pressured to be perfect nowadays. I know that may seem far-fetched, but it's pretty accurate. Teachers and parents all put pressure on us to get good grades and maintain honor roll and get into National Honor Society. But they also expect us to find something we're good at and continue with it all throughout high school, whether it's baseball, soccer, the school musical, and I would say football, but some high schools don't allow that.
Dangerous program.
Once we finally find that one thing we're good at, and we have essays and tests and textbook notes to do, it becomes overwhelming. What is also overwhelming is standardized testing. During our elementary school years in second or third grade, we were introduced to DCAS and benchmark testing. At first, we were like this.
And it's crazy, but I'm determined. So test me, baby. Working hard to get right. Had it lately, but I'm so.
And now, things are like this.
School makes me so stressed.
School makes me stressed.
Bro, I don't even understand this, bro. Alright, so we first start with 1,500,
The pressure just built up from there with Smarter Balance, the SAT, the SAT. Schools and states use these tests so that they can see what skill levels their students have accomplished.
Although they are beneficial for schools, standardized testing not only causes unneeded stress for students, but also to teachers and parents.
For starters, teachers have convinced kids that these tests will determine their future, making the kids take them way too seriously. Ever since we first started taking state tests in elementary school, we were told that these tests are vital and imperative and show what we need to improve on. Yes, they might show our individual capabilities, but all these tests do is let schools see how their students are doing and let states see how their schools are doing. So, going as far as saying that they will determine what lifestyle you'll end up having or what career you'll be is very far-fetched. Take this clip from The Simpsons, for example.
We're going to take a test.
We're going to take a test.
All right, a test.
It's called the Career Aptitude Normalizing Test, or CANT.
Some of you may discover a wonderful vocation you never even imagined. Others may find out life isn't fair. In spite of your masters from Bryn Mawr, you might end up a glorified babysitter to a bunch of dead-eyed fourth graders while your husband runs naked on a beach with your marriage counselor. Well, first question. If I could be any animal, I would be A, a carpenter ant, B, a nurse shark, or C, a lawyer bird.
Question 60. I prefer the smell of A, gasoline, B, French fries, or C, bank customers.
Well, that was a waste of time. Jamie, school is never a waste of time.
Since we have 15 minutes until recess, please put down your pencils and stare at the front of the room.
Here for the tests.
Come on, Emma.
Here's your scientifically selected career.
Architect.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance salesman.
Mm-hmm.
Salmon cutter? Military strongman. Systems analyst, systems analyst, systems analyst.
Systems analyst.
All right! Homemaker?
Mm-hmm. It's like a mommy.
Although it's just a cartoon, The Simpsons satirizes how teachers make the test seem like a super big deal, when it doesn't really even count as an actual grade. It has also been proven that most schools pressure their teachers to ensure that their students pass the test, which makes sense to why they make such a big deal out of it. Clearly, schools aren't making things easier for the teachers or the students. Another thing is that the week leading up to the state tests overwhelms students and causes them not only emotional pain, but physical as well. What causes all this stress is cortisol. Cortisol is known as
nature's built-in alarm system.
It's your body's main stress hormone. Leading up to these tests, Matt Barnum, a writer for Chalkbeat, confirms that, indeed, cortisol levels were about 15% higher at the time during testing weeks than they were during a regular week. The reason of this is because cortisol works with certain parts of your brain to control your mood, motivation, and fear. Now, students even have to think about state tests. This kicks in. Over the past decade, there have been many cases of kids even skipping school to avoid taking it.
High school students opted out of taking the park test.
There was 5 kids that I was with.
That took the test?
Yeah.
Like almost the entire auditorium was filled with kids that didn't take it.
Not a single junior showed up to take the Common Core Smarter Balance test this week.
On top of this, there have been several cases of kids getting sick and throwing up and getting migraines over it. Medical doctor Ellen Cox states, multiple cases of children being moved to tears or vomiting are widely shared by educators. What makes this worse is that teachers in schools know very well the stress that this causes to students, and they do nothing to fix it. In fact, parents are the ones who have to take care of the situation, since the schools won't help their children. Standardized tests cause parents to grow more and more concerned about their child's well-being and health. Most parents even try so hard to prepare their kids mentally for these tests, but their children just can't handle it.
Parents believe that their stress is caused by the need to do well, and the fear of failing, and the schools, and maintaining a good education.
All of these are valid, but they're not the only ones who are stressed. Schools strong-arm teachers into putting more pressure on students and be more dour when it comes to preparation, so that the scores remain high.
It's called value-added analysis, rating teachers based on student test scores. For instance, if a student who ranked in the 60th percentile test higher at the end of the year, the teacher gets a better rating. If the student falls, the teacher's rating falls.
Some schools determine their teachers' paychecks and evaluations based on how well their students do, which is why they tend to do this.
Your scores on this test will determine how much money this suck shack gets for years to come. So we will spend every moment of the next 2 weeks drilling the questions and answers into your soft little skulls.
Shy is too gregarious, as he's full is too bellicose.
Okay, children, the answers to the standardized test fall into 12 basic patterns. Repeat after me. Akaka, dabica, akakaka.
Akaka, dabica, akakaka.
Number 2. Dakaka, a dada, batacat.
Dakaka, a dada, batacat.
Biggest city in Montana.
Helena?
Wrong. Oh. 912 divided by 6.
You can't teach this way.
Yes, I can. Ha!
Oh.
But he's sure it works. Why?
Where were these studies conducted?
Ball State.
The Simpsons, yet again, doesn't fail to show that teachers will do anything to keep their jobs and the benefits they get from them. Take the movie Bad Teacher, for example. Yes, it's just a movie, but when Cameron Diaz throws dodgeballs at her students' faces when they get questions wrong, that probably doesn't seem too crazy to some teachers.
All around me are familiar faces.
Standardized testing overall lets schools and teachers and even parents know what their kids are capable of, which is very beneficial and very helpful. But the stress caused by it just isn't worth it. Standardized testing is like kryptonite to students. It's a weakness of theirs. If schools and teachers just eased up on the kids a little bit, then they wouldn't be as stressed, and would probably even perform better. At the end of the day, they just need to ask themselves, is all the stress worth it?